Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of FoolCraft. I've heard this is the most foolish server in all of the Minecraft community, and right now it certainly feels like it. How do I get that stuff to fly? There we go, fly up and down again, me lovelies. This ain't something you normally see in this game, right? Oh, and I can make this even worse because I've been mining out tons and tons of sand for our Wastelands project. And I have been doing that because we found a way to do this fast again. Okay, so look at that. It is vanishing before our eyes. And this is the crag rock biome border over here. Yikes, loads of the stuff to remove over there. This is insane. Look at how fast it's going. Now, in all fairness, it used to go this fast, and I made a change and it slowed it down massively, and I never really caught on to that at the time. By the way, this is starting to get a little bit annoying, isn't it? Oh, look at the sand going everywhere. So I got a backpack now. Surprisingly, I've labelled it yellow, yellow, yellow for sand, just in case I get confused, and it is going to take forever to fill this thing up, isn't it? This is plugged into our big chest for storing sand and sandstone. And that is definitely getting annoying. Now, previously, these two shovels and pickaxes were linked to that chest. And as you can see, I put redstone on them because we had a little bit of a theory that this one would do the vein mining faster because it had the redstone upgrade. It's actually not the case at all. If I bring up this menu, it's the Global Traveller. So, remember how fast it was a moment ago. Also, let's try and get rid of more of this sand. I think I went really overboard with mining tons of it there. Look at the comparison in speed to what we saw a moment ago, okay? I'm now going to do it with Global Traveller on. I've been putting up with this for quite some time, and this is when I was starting to think, man, I'm going to always do this Wastelands project, but will I actually complete it? Not with that kind of speed. Okay, speed comparison. So everything we just mined went straight into the chest. If we do it this way, goodness me, that is faster. And then we just need this backpack to send the items in. I've already put some upgrades on this thing. I think we're going to need some more, to be fair. So finally we get all of the sand into here. Excellent, excellent. And when I was doing this, I uncovered a chance cube. Do you know what? It's been ages since we've done one of those. So, oh yeah, you've got to mine it, not right click on it. Hi, we got a witch. Are you some sort of trapped witch? Oh, do you remember the woot farm? I need to capture a witch for the woot farm. That'd be a great source of glowstone and redstone. I haven't done glowstone farming yet. Thing is, I already did this the other day. We got a witch soul vial right there. But I'll tell you what, I'll take you just in case it'll be useful to have more than one. Bam, come with me. And anyway, right, we're going to turn off this thing because we're going to go somewhere in a moment. Just want to do that before I forget. And we're going to press J and bring up the journey map. So, it's kind of hard to see, but a lot of this area here, where the mouse cursor is going, that is mostly sandstone and some of the side up here. It's where you can sort of see it, some of the stone coming through the sand there. That's where you know I've been mining. So I haven't been doing the sandstone, I've just been doing the sand on top of it. But making waves of progress here. I'm definitely going to spend like a solid hour at some point today and just absolutely get tons of the stuff done. Right, I wanted to show you where that ender chest goes to. Yes, that is a different block. Yes, you can paint these little blocks right here, which is something we absolutely have to do. So down the bottom here now we have this, and it's only got a few speed upgrades in it. So I could add more Ender IO conduits on either side. That's something I could do right now, actually. Except I don't have my conduits in here, which is just fantastic. But yeah, then we can make that faster. So that is linked to this thing right here. And of course, this is where we store all of the blocks. Still doesn't look like we've really put a dent in it. We're sort of approaching, yeah, like a quarter, maybe a third. I'd say that's probably a third full. So I reckon the entire wasteland, sand and sandstone and mud can fit inside of that thing, which is just mental. Anyway, the reason I turned off my magnet is because I fixed a project, and we could have done this ages ago. This thing has been sitting around not doing anything, and we set up all of the infrastructure for it to work. So if we go to our ores, we have an insane amount. The reason we have so much ores at the moment is because we have been running that, what was it called again? Quarry, yes, the quantum quarry around the clock. And we could run that probably even faster now that our power situation is doing good. So if we go down to the ore processing room, I've actually gone in here and fixed this. And what happened was all of these things were facing the wrong way. And then there were these weird blocks on either side. They looked like these, right? Now I thought that was the mod sort of saying I'm broken. So I came over here to fix it. I thought, well, I could just craft the stuff again. And I started whacking things with my wrench, and it dropped these little upgrades. So the way everything works has really been changed on this mod. And when it dropped the upgrades, I could apply them, and then they worked, like, you know, It's all fixed. Look at it. It's all ready to go. And we're going to make it go. And we got to put some items in that ender chest. So we can hook one of these ender chests up in our base with an exporter to put the ores in here. This thing is then going to distribute the ores. And now you know why I turned my magnet off. And I love this bit right here. We're going to press F1 because this looks so cool. So there you go. The first rows start to light up. Strangely enough, only 2 of them are active, and I know why now. We're going to come back to that in a moment. I know exactly why only 2 of those are active. And then you can see the next one start to go across. It's going to be a little slow because only 2 of them are fired up. And I'll tell you what, you know what's going to happen next. The redstone furnaces fire up, and then you see the ingots go across the bit at the top, which is seriously cool. Come on, ingots, we want to see you right now. There you are! Amazing, just on time. Oh, it's so cool. I love it because it's animated and it's a little bit different. But the reason only 3 of them are active, and by the way, the last part of this project really is just to create a room for the down below area, and that's going to be very maintenance-y, so I'm not going to put a lot of focus on aesthetics. It's just going to be for getting in here and fixing problems. So, no problems in that chest. In this one over here, we might, yep, we see some cinnabar. This stuff doesn't have anywhere to go yet, so we've got to probably create a channel for that to figure out where it goes to. This ender chest isn't hooked up to anything, so everything that's been smelted is just sitting in there. And there is another chest here. That's not of my concern, though. So, 3 of these things didn't fire up. Why is that? It's because I got no power. I actually thought it was because something like cinnabar was stuck in here and not being pulled out. Oh, do you know what this means? Okay, right. How is this thing being powered? By this right here. So all we have to do is replace that with a dimensional transceiver, and it means we get to hook up another one to our power system. So we should probably go and check on that quickly. How are you doing? Because now you're running the quarry around the clock, and you're also running our woot farm. Oh, it's doing good. Look at that. It is full to the brim, full of power. This is great. Everything is starting to work now, and it is amazing. One project after another just gets more and more awesome. Check this out. 400 nether stars. Nope, we got a lot more than that. I put a stack in there a moment ago, and that number is just going up and up and up. Now, I've also got an Ender IO conduit moving some items around over here because I'd stored that essence over on that side, and we get this stuff from opening loot bags, and now it's being stored over here. I believe we are exporting everything into our system, so it'll go to this new set of drawers that I set up. You know, I did that in the last episode. I can't remember if I even showed it. I go around doing lots of maintenance stuff for our infrastructure and always forget to show you, and we'll come back to that in a second. So if we open this thing up, and look, it's on the front right there, Nether stars, 21,000, absolutely ridiculous. I'm loving this woot farm thing. We're gonna make full use of that this series, believe me. Now the loot bag block over here had changed, as you saw earlier. That's subject to change, but you can put these things inside of a painter and make it look like another block, which is extremely cool. If we go over to this room though, I have started work on it. And check it out, it's kind of going in the direction I want, and I think I'll comment on it more once it's actually finished. But this is like the loot bag project room coming together very, very well now, looking really fine. And I've got loads of building blocks in here from where I was messing around with it on a live stream. So we painted this thing, and it's the gold equivalent of this texture, which is iron. I think I'm just going to change that to something more simple. But anyway, we've wandered around the base, we've checked out tons of stuff so far, and now what I'm basically going to go and do is a little bit of progress on all the things that I've shown you so far. First order of business is to upgrade our ender chest system so that we can move the sand into here quicker, and now there are 5 connections on each side, all with 4 speed upgrades. So that has made a very convenient difference with me mining out this area and putting items into my backpack. Now look at that. As far as you can see, the wastelands has expanded in this direction. Decided to take it over here so we could get to that crag rock biome border. Man, that looks crazy. And I kind of like the way it just goes straight up like that. It's really ominous. And there's a few blocks left behind, apparently. I was doing my best to get all of these. And around here, you can kind of see the formation. Now, where there's these pillars, there was sandstone behind it. And initially, they went all the way up there. And I had to mine it all the way down here. But thanks to these tools and the vein mining, everything has gone by pretty quickly. And I'll tell you what I haven't done yet. I haven't pressed J to see journey map. Goodness me, look at that. What an expansion. So now it stretches from that side over to here. So far in this episode, we've probably kind of done like this entire area, which is a pretty sizable amount compared to what we've done before. I'm really confident now that we will get this done over time. And that is just insane. Well, next order of business was to show you the changes I made in this place, and I didn't think this would go wrong, but you can see that a load of items have been zapped to me. We need our import thing, and technically what it's going to do is keep exporting it over here, but for now I'm going to chuck all of those ones into there, and the ingots as well. They can all go in, and we're going to zap up more as we move into this area. How much more will be interesting to see. Not a lot. Okay, so that's kind of good. Let's get this thing down here so we can stop zapping those up. And we may have lost a lot of ores to this because it's not fast enough to keep up, although it's weird to see that those aren't filled up. Basically, these ones right here are not fast enough, and the chest over on that side is pretty much filled up. And you can see there that it's not accepting all of the items. So that, we're actually kind of down to the last of our stock really now. That's interesting. Coming round to this other side, though, you'll see what I'm talking about now. Look at that. So we have exported tons and tons of ores, and some of them have probably despawned. But luckily I came over here and picked a lot of them up. So this thing needs to run faster. However, once it's smelted all of those, it will only be smelting things that come in from the quarry. So it'll need to match the speed of that. Anyway, what I've done over here is I've added the dimensional transceiver for power, and all of this runs just fine off of one connection, which can do 640 RF per tick. So that is a very low amount of energy being used for this entire setup, but we may want to upgrade its speed, which I do believe is possible because you can make upgrades to these things, but I'll have to look into it. And also, while I'm here, I should probably chuck a few of these in so they can start smelting. Alright then people, as it goes, the last part of this video was recorded a couple of days ago, and my day-to-day has been busy and hectic, and then I logged on to the server and my power system had died again. Now this time I figured out in the end what the problem was and how to fix it. It was just me being a boo-boo again, and I forgot to add in these upgrades, which are very important. If we don't add the void upgrades in, what's going to happen is all our items are going to back up into our big chest, and then that causes the system to break. So after a while I managed to get this thing back online, but it's kind of thrown me off my flow a little bit, if you know what I mean. Now I've got something a little bit funny going on here. You see these things, they're not really converting fast enough. Okay, so those numbers are going to tick down very slowly. In fact, that's a little bit too slow for my comfort. Now, what would be better if those were to tick down faster, because they're being auto-crafted into these blocks, and we would like these chests to be full at all times and for them to fill up very quickly, which they're not doing. And what's weird is I just put in a speed upgrade over here and it seemed to make no difference. So we're going to do a little experiment. Now, we don't need to auto-craft that stuff anymore because we no longer use the purple slime. We've now changed over to just using 3 of them, which I don't know if I even talked about in a video, but if you've been watching the live streams you'll know all about that. So we're going to make 4 of those. We're going to take a crafter and a redstone block so we can automatically craft it, and first of all we're going to separate them. So in theory that means they go twice as fast, which should be good enough. The other thing I want to try is a stack upgrade. Can we make one of those and see if that makes any difference? So if we go down here and just plop in the crafter next to the other one, we can also use a wrench to rotate these. So this thing right here, actually that's the wrong wrench, but I've been told that you can use multiple wrenches. Oh, look at that, it rotates it anyway, even though it's for a different mod. And actually, I think what way it was facing didn't even make a difference after all. But anyway, we're going to separate these. So we're going to have this one over on this side. That's set to redstone only and yes, which we will now do. And then we'll put in those speed upgrades. In fact, no, on one of these, we're going to put in the stack upgrade. So that might... Okay, never mind, it doesn't make a difference. Well, I was curious, now we know. So at least those should be going twice as fast now, which means these things should fill up relatively quickly, which they appear to be doing. I'll keep my eye on that. That's just one thing that's going to help keep the power system online. Now, we're going to do a few more of the things related to what we've been doing already this episode, but right now, I'm going to talk about something that I was going to talk about in a future video, just because all of a sudden, you know, my time has been taken away from me to play, which always sucks. We're going to grab these things. We're going to grab some of that. In fact, I want that on my hotbar. We're going to take a look at how I was going to go about building part of what you see around me. And I think really all we need is this. This was kind of like a big deal for me showing you what's what. So this fort idea, really great. Still want to go with it. Doing it with chisel and bits, terrible idea. Chisel and bits on a large scale is a bit mental, and this hasn't changed for a while, has it? I just kind of want to show you my plans a little bit. In fact, how about this? I'm going to put the image that this is based off of on the screen. Okay, so now you can see what I was working at, and now you can see I was trying to take an image and bring it to life in Minecraft. And it doesn't look quite as good as that image, right? But anyway, I was going to come around here and do this kind of thing. I was going to have little details where all of a sudden some bits would be a little bit higher than others. So it'd have little ridges. And I'm going to stick it on the grid just because it's nice and easy to keep up with. But I figured if we had little details like that here and there, we can make this thing look really, really interesting. But that plain texture, which I ummed and ahed about, and just the time it takes to build all of this is kind of insane. And I think what I would actually like to do is just drop back to a more vanilla way and use full blocks and build this thing up again. What we'll build it with, I don't know, but I'm pretty confident we can get a lot of it done if we don't use chisel and bits. We'll get it done very, very quickly. So that was kind of my idea, to go around and break up the lines by having little bits that get raised up here and there, and some that would get lowered down as well. Obviously they would have like a texture behind them, but I would go and put tons of little details into the side of the walls. But I feel that detail gets lost on this scale, so it's just kind of pointless. And no regrets really. I was going to put this down to a poll, but I was pretty sure most of you would be on my side that this build probably isn't going in the right direction. you saw it, we're going to destroy the server doing this, I'll tell you. Oh, it took everything. It took all of this as well. I thought it was only going to do those ones. Okay, well, we're going to have a little bit of fun together then, tearing this thing down. I don't mind doing this at all. It actually feels good to do that. Now, luckily for us, it's leaving in the stone down here, which are going to keep us the same markings. When we rebuild this, we're going to do it on the same dimension. And I had loads of suggestions last episode, which I really appreciate as always. Thank you for your comments. What to do with the FoolCraft dev ghosts. We're going to lock them up in each corner of these towers. We're going to put in a little room and have them locked up, which I think is really cool. Now, at some point, I'm expecting the server to start hiccuping. Let's look at the sky. You're jumping back and forth? You're not. I think these items are actually okay. Right, let's break the last bit over here. It's good to see this go, actually. This thing I've just been looking at and thinking, I'm not looking forward to finishing that. Oh, it's cool. Like we did earlier, let's just stand on a block and see if it all flies up. It's going over to the side, peeps. Wait, oh, now it's going all over the place. Oh, I'm having too much fun with this, aren't I? Right, the way to solve this problem, I think, there's two ways. I could try and put things in the trash, right? But I'd have to click on each and every one individually. So what I'm actually going to do is just grab a lava bucket, and then I'm going to put that lava below me. Let's see if this is effective. Yep, it also damaged me. It's super effective. And that's it. The entire thing's gone, peeps. No regrets. No regrets whatsoever. Good riddance, I say. It's good to see it go. It feels like a whole new world of possibilities is available. And me and building, you've heard me and ah about how I build, and I'm never too confident with what I'm doing. I'm not going to think like that moving forward. Here's what we're going to do. We've got a build style that I think came together really, really well down here. And what we're going to do is borrow a couple of materials from this, mix it with some stones maybe, and use that as the palette for the outside area. So as you're going through the base, floors like this are going to tie with the one above it, which will have all of our stuff in. And slowly a vision is coming together, but I don't want to, you know, keep talking about building. I want to show you what we're going to do next. So down here in the ore processing, most of our, well, all of our ores have been processed because much time has gone by. And in here, we're left behind with the ores which won't process. So these are from the Nether, and I guess that's kind of an exception, so we don't really worry about that too much. These ones will not go into here. Like, I can't place them in. So if I press uses, it's just regular smelting, I think. So what I want to do is set up a regular smelter down here, and that means we're going to decorate this room. And I think what I'll do is I'll drag the grass into here, and then we'll have some very clean walls. We'll probably use a couple of arches here and there again, and just tidy up this space so that we can have a couple of extra bits. And one of those other things is this stuff over on this side. So all we have to do is add an Ender IO conduit over here. This thing can still come through the same system. It can go across the tracks. And then over here we'll have another Ender IO conduit for this stuff. However, I think you use it for, yeah, you can mix it with other types, but I'm not sure if every type will work like that. It might only be some types that you can use it for. So I guess what we'd do is pump it back into the Induction Smelter, which is the next one along, isn't it? No, wait, that's a redstone furnace. Oh, so we're not actually using that thing. Alright then, well, I'm not 100% sure what we'll do with this then. There's also this thing. No, okay, looks like we'll just dump it into storage for now. It took me a second to figure this trick out. I was only trying to clear my inventory of all this junk. I'm chucking these things in here. And there they are in my inventory. Do you know what it is? It's this thing. They're immediately coming through here, of course, because this thing's still going to send them over there. Well, you know, this type. The iron can definitely go through there and get processed. So I've got to turn that off for a second while it exports it back. I guess what I should have done is actually just put it straight into that chest then, but never mind. Anyway, I want this area to feel like you can walk through it, and I think that's kind of the theme for our entire base. Even though we fly around, you can walk up here, you can look at what's going on. That looks seriously cool. And then coming down here, I want things to change up a little bit. I want to bring this texture back in and just make it feel a little bit more industrial back here. So for lighting, we're not going to use this stuff. I've got these down on the ground here, and this is the shape that I've built so far. Now there doesn't need to be a lot of room. As you can see here, the only stuff we need to access kind of ends around this space. So it doesn't need to be very big at all. And I'm thinking everything's up there. So what we're going to do is we're going to build a balcony across here. And I was thinking about what we used in this room. Ah, of course, right. So the other material we're going to use will be this red wood. But this stuff right here, these banisters, could be used. I've got some of them lying around in a chest. There we go. So we could put a row of those up at the top. And then I figured an elevator block in the center here. So you'd walk to here, you'd pop up, and it would put you at about this height. So I think our floor would need to be around here, and then that would be made out of redwood, and we'd have some banisters going from one side to the other like that, which is pretty cool. Then you can access everything. You can bump your head on that if you want to, and from down here, yeah, it doesn't look very intrusive at all, does it? Alright, I think that's going to work. Alright, so we're going to make the final adjustments to this room right now. Let's hop up here though, and I think that's pretty reasonable. That gives you access to everything. Still haven't made a solution for this over here though. I'll probably just whack like a furnace on the side and then, yeah, chuck it straight into this output. Right, anyway, going back down, there's just one thing that I think this room is missing, and that is something on the walls here. So I said I wanted to bring back that texture, and we're going to do so. So we'll carve out some free wide spaces here, and then we'll add in some curves, and basically repeat the pattern that we've done already. Now I could put it in that side as well, but I feel like it would look a little bit out of place. And there is one other thing that I think is a little bit wrong with this room, and that is the ceiling at the moment, because you can see that green bit there. But it also reminded me that the ceiling is pretty flat as it is. So let's grab our axe, which we got from the loot bag. And by the way, we never opened more of those loot bags. I think that's something that we should do. And I was thinking at first that we could just cover this up by doing that, bring it over a little bit, turn it round to the side, but actually probably benefit from a bit more of that as well. So maybe over on this side as well, we also chop away these 3 bits and just throw in a little bit of detail. So here it is, the final room, looking pretty cool, and that thing is stitched onto the side so that we get this stuff, rose gold, which I don't know what we use it for, but it's probably got something to do with that mod that it's from. And there's one more job for me to do, which I'll do later, which is to close that off, and then this thing is finished, which is just spectacular. Now, heading back up to the top, I want to quickly talk about something. Loads of you left comments about this, the feedbag. So one of the things we're going to do in this series is try and get all of these, right? And we're going to build a room where they're going to be on display. It's going to be very fun. And the feedbag will actually hold the food you need to feed all of these with, which I think is pretty cool. It's only got 9 slots, and I was thinking, wouldn't it be great if you could link this up to an ender chest like we do these loot bags? Then, oh, that would be so awesome. You could keep these in here, and then in their feed bag, you could always have the food that they want stocked up. Very cool stuff. But anyway, heading back down to this room, we're going to do a little bit of work on this, and we're going to open a loot bag. I don't know what are in each of these, and who do I think might have something I'm interested in? I mean, everyone else here is pretty good at building. So there's probably going to be a lot of builders stuff. Let's do the B00 bag. That'll have some builders goodies in it, I reckon. So let's crank it open. And I literally crafted one of those a moment ago to work on that room, which is hilarious. And a block of emerald. Does that not mean that this is technically an emerald farm, right? Because we could just open these, ditch everything else and keep the emeralds. That is something that I will consider. What do you think about that? Leave a comment. It would be a very different way of doing a farm, of course, and we'd miss out on perhaps making something with villagers, but it could be a way for us to stash up on emeralds. So from up here, that's what it looks like. Kind of odd. It's like a half half light, half dark, and there's no colour on it. We'll have to play around with a few more blocks, but I really like that one in the centre of the room. And check out the roof. It's the same block there, by the way. I had this torch put above in the area for the longest time, and I decided I just want to leave it there, really. And the roof looks really cool. However, where I've been flying back and forth to replace that thing, we need to fill that in. And now it's a little bit darker in here, it feels like. And there is some lighting coming from down below as well. On the inside there, just under these blocks, there's a torch on each side. So a little bit creeps through. And the backs have sort of all been done. So all we're going to do is throw on the ocelot. And you can see that back there, there's some pipage going on and some walls. And I quite like it, but the thing is... Oh, apparently I missed a bit. Well, I'll come back and sort that out. You don't really see a lot of it because it's very dark in here. And I actually like the moodiness of this room, and we're going to keep it that way. But there is one more thing to do. I can't decide if I want to do this or not. And it'd be easier if I have this thing on. There's actually glass here, and I kind of envisioned it being like you had a glass wall around here. But I think it would be kind of pointless. Like... What is it going to do? It's going to get in the way, isn't it? Basically, at looking at everything. And although it would make everything tinted a little darker when we don't have the night vision, it kind of looks just right in here. So we're actually going to wrap that one up. All of that stuff can come back in here, and all of these chisel and bits glass can come back as well. So we're not going to bother with that. I think that's all of it. Sounds like there's stuff floating below me again. Yep, there it is. And that thing needs to come with us as well. So then, we've made huge progress in the wastelands over here, and I also feel like I've made a huge progress by tearing down that build. The amount of work that would have gone into it to get it to look at least reasonable, you know, we can do so much more if we take a different approach to building without chisel and bits. So I'm really looking forward to the future of this series at the moment. There's so much stuff to do, got ideas whirling around in my head constantly, and I can't wait to get on here and record another episode. But that is going to be it from me this one. If you have enjoyed it, please do leave a like. This massive sword is ridiculous. Yes, please do leave a like. Thank you as always for your support. And I'll see you in the next episode of FoolCraft. Ciao for now. Bye-bye.